Hello! Now, this is a first video of a two-part series about our new roastery. It's a little bit geeky, but I'm pretty sure you will enjoy it if you're into roasting. So welcome to this new vlog episode where we are going to talk about our new roaster, which you can see behind us, the Loring Kestrel 35 kilo roaster. And with me today I have Ben Symes. Ben is my potato. He can be used for anything, and project manager and roaster, and also doing quality control with me every Monday in the cupping room. So when we taste all the roasts we did the previous week, and he's been doing all the testing with me on the Loring. Well, I've basically been packing coffee while he's been testing, and we've been discussing.
Tim's my packer.
So yeah. So we've been discussing the profiles before we start to test, and then Ben is doing the testing, and then afterwards we will cup it and then evaluate whether or not it was successful. So maybe we should start talking about why we chose the Loring. Do you have any idea?
Well, I think it was time we needed more capacity. Yeah. So we needed a larger machine.
Yeah.
And we were also struggling with consistency, roasting throughout the seasons and the big ambient temperature changes that we have here in Oslo.
Yeah, and especially our store roaster was so close to the door, and our old Probat was drawing in a lot of air from the room, and so when you open the door and you have minus 20 degrees outside, it's a problem.
Yeah, so that meant from day to day we had to adjust a lot, and always kind of be on top of our profiles, where hopefully with the Loring we can be a little more consistent, because it's a closed system, using recirculated air.
That's our beacon machine making a little bit of noise.
Yeah, that was me actually.
Yeah, so the Loring actually has the flame in the cyclone, and then it transports the air through the drum. So it's actually a hot air roaster.
Yeah.
Whereas the Probat we had the flames underneath the drum, so it will heat up the cast iron drum, and then also the hot air, drawing a lot of air through the drum that it will heat up.
Yeah.
So actually most of the gas we burnt went out the chimney.
Yeah.
Whereas on the Loring it will recycle the heat and burn off the fumes and then recycle the heat.
I think that was one of the main reasons, also a major reason we wanted to change too, is because it's much more efficient, burns less gas, and then it's environmentally much friendlier than the
especially for the local environment. Oslo has terrible air quality in the winter because of the cold. And we were, spewing out a lot of smoke through our old roastery. Yeah. And this is actually smokeless.
Much cleaner.
Yeah. We don't even have a chimney for it. It's just out the wall, and you can't see any smoke coming out there. So, what's been the verdict so far? We've been doing a lot of testing.
Yeah.
Maybe 5 weeks of testing.
Yeah.
And roasting the 5 coffees we had to offer at the moment, and comparing with our Probat roasts.
Over and over again, and twice a week, and cupping intensely, and coffee-wise, I think we're very happy. Yeah, we've had great results, especially last week with our first production cupping.
Yeah, I agree. What would you say is the biggest difference?
I think the roast is just a little more uniform, I think, so it's more evenly roasted through the whole bean. Yeah. We can probably even go lighter in colour, but be more developed and more evenly roasted. So we're not getting that sort of slight greeny flavour that occasionally we would get or find with the Probat.
Yeah. So I noticed on Monday's production cupping where we had all the new Loring roasts. And we also put some Probat roasts from the week before on the table, and I at least didn't really notice a difference straight away. But then when I cut through all the Loring roasts and I went back to the Probat, you could immediately taste that kind of. It's almost like a sweaty green bean flavor, almost like you burn some plastic in there or something. Yeah,
just at the finish you get that kind of green.
Yeah. And especially with the Tamana coffee and the Nascimento, I think the profiles, or at least the coffees, are a lot sweeter. Yeah. It's almost like there's some sugar in there. So I'm really happy with that.
We were so happy with that after production cupping.
Yeah.
So
How is it to work on the Loring compared to the Probat?
Well, it's different. So I mean, we're just learning how to do it. But I think personally, like my workflow is much smoother. It's a lot less manual, so I'm kind of don't have to lift things, heavy things, and push and turn things. It's just pushing buttons on the screen. So physically, that's a plus over a long day. Still kind of experimenting with cooling times and things in between roasts. So we've kind of trying to work out the best routines for those things still. But yeah, the first few weeks it's all been good.
We're having some trouble because our new roastery is just 40 square meters, so it's quite small. And the Loring is sucking a lot of air out of the room. Not actually the roaster, but we have like a ventilator on top of the stack to draw all the hot air and mix it with the air from the room. So we don't have to have a chimney up the roof. It cools down the air that's going through the chimney pipe. So that's drawing around 1,000 pascals. And once you put it on, you can't really open the door to the roastery. So we need a lot more fresh air coming in. We have to build some more pipes where we just draw more fresh air into the room. And we've been working with the windows open, which is pretty cold. It's been -8 degrees and stuff outside.
So I've been roasting in beanie, scarf, jacket.
But I think the problem was that there's a function on the roaster called manual air cool, where it will actually put the burner on full flame and then put the fan on the full, and it will kind of blow out old air from the roaster to cool it down and draw in some fresh air. And when it did that, we had a lot of heat coming out of that ventilator, which can be dangerous because it's quite close to a wall, so we might have a fire. So we had to turn that off. And then now we've been doing testing with this function, and now we have to test without it. So it's just a little bit different how you cool in between the roasts.
So that's something we're working on as well.
Do you feel like you're able to hit the profiles more or less the same every time? Or?
Yeah, I think so. Like we've been experimenting with 15 kilo batches and 30 kilo batches, and the machine itself is it's easier to manipulate. So it's very responsive when you make a change with the gas or the percentage of energy that you're using. So I find like it's much easier probably to stick to the bean temperature and exhaust temperature curves than we had on the old Probat. And on the cupping, it was very consistent, I think. We have obviously had some fails last week because we just started with new profiles, and we also did 30 kilos and 15 kilos over and over. And but I would have to say though, we have done about 16 or 17,000 roasts on the old Probat, and we're never really able to hit the same profile every time. Whereas with the Loring, just after 5 weeks, we are able to hit more or less the profile. And I think it's tasting better, although we haven't been testing it for more than not even 2 months. So I'm looking forward to how the coffee is going to taste like after 17,000 roasts. There'll be a bit of tweaking going on.
So what's the plan for the next months? We're getting new coffees in maybe in May, June. I think the plan would be to take one new coffee and start to experiment with new profiles to see how much further we can push the development to get maximum sweetness and without any kind of roasty notes. What was the best improvement, do you think? Which coffee had the best improvement?
For me, like the ones, I think the geisha variety from the Caballeros was always very difficult to develop and roast evenly on the old Probat. And also the Ethiopian coffees, I think as well, they're quite dense and they're hard to kind of roast evenly. And I think with this convection system on the new machine, that they really improved. We got them lighter and more developed, sweeter. The geisha on the Probat, it was always a compromise between a little green or a little roasty. And now it's tasting sweeter and less green. Straight away. Much more of that good tangerine flavor.
Still need to work on the profile.
We're not there yet.
But it's better than it used to be, which is a good thing. So I think it's a work in progress. Like any other roaster, you just have to realize that it's never perfect. You can always improve. And especially with the new machine, we kind of have to figure out what's the kind of do's and don'ts. And we're Did you have any kind of theory before you started testing?
I mean, we'd been and done a little bit of testing last year with Mateo Christian, and we'd done some testing at the Roastery in Copenhagen.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I had some ideas about how to use it, but yeah, and looking online and doing a bit of homework, but yeah, I think it was nice to approach it with like a clean slate.
Yeah.
Don't have any preconceived ideas about how the profile should look, the curve should look.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I remember we did one, I think it was the first day when we did one coffee, and we had like 3 different kind of approaches. One where we had full heat from the beginning and then less heat at the end.
Yeah.
And then another one, full heat at the beginning, high heat at the end. And then one, where we didn't apply heat in the beginning, but more in the end, and just several combinations of these kind of things.
Yeah.
And just cupped it and chose the ones that were tasting better.
Yeah.
I don't really use any theory when we start roasting. It's just we test methodically and then see whatever works. I don't really care what people say or tell me, oh, you should do this or you should do that. You got to test for yourself.
Yeah, we rely a lot on quality control and cupping, and we do that blind, and then we sort of go forward like that way, I think.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because some of the ways we would roast on the old Probat with having earlier gas settings and things like that, it's the opposite on this one.
Yeah.
And vice versa for the coffees. So yeah,
it's very different.
It's definitely changed a lot. So.
I think also learning from other people, we can learn from other people for sure, on how they do profiles. Mateo had a much older Loring than us, so they didn't have the same amount of power, and it works a little different. We can easily roast 30 kilos in like 8 minutes if we want, whereas on the older ones you really couldn't do 30 kilos. I think they're doing 25.
I think they just do 15 kilo batches.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure we can do 35 kilos as well if you want to. For now, we just need 30. But it's been fun to start roasting on it.
Yeah.
Any other comments before we?
No, not really. Actually, I think we summed it up.
Do you miss our old roaster?
Not particularly.
No.
Not yet. I mean, I've always worked on a Probat before, so it felt very foreign to, and I'm completely out of my comfort zone just using the Loring. But I think that's a great learning experience, and I haven't missed the Probat yet. But
and I mean, it's just up the street. So Fuglen, which is a coffee shop and a cocktail bar, they have a bar in Tokyo, and they roast in Tokyo, but they have never roasted in Norway. So they used to send coffee from Japan. First they sent the green coffee from Norway to Japan, and then the roasted coffee from Japan to Norway, which doesn't make sense at all. So they actually bought the old Probat from us, and they're a 5-minute walk from here. Just setting up their roastery as we speak. They roasted a little bit yesterday.
They roasted 2 batches yesterday, so it's nice to know the machine's in good hands.
Did it act different there than it was in our space?
Yeah, definitely. Like they have a lot different ventilation, and so they need more airflow, and I think their gas pressure is a little stronger than we had in the shop. So it's slightly different. So they're gonna follow the same sort of learning curve that we've gone through.
Which they asked for roast profiles from us, which we could easily give them, but especially if they're having much stronger airflow, would not work at all. That's what makes it fun. But with the Loring, at least, since it's a closed system, you are actually able to exchange profiles, and it'll be more or less the same if you have the same coffee though. And we have a lot of shade dried coffees, which means the beans are very hard, so they can take a lot more heat than if it's dried faster in the sun, and especially in these parabolic dryers that they use a lot in Colombia. So if we give someone our Colombian profile and they have a coffee that's dried for 6 days in the full sun, it would destroy their coffee for sure. That's what makes it fun. Cool. I think we should wrap it up then. We can talk about it maybe in 6 months or something. We worked a little bit more on the roaster, and do a little recap then. But until then, have a nice coffee.